It's a story we've been on top of all day and really from the very beginning. And finally, we're getting more answers after the deadly lion attack at the Conservator Center in Caswell County.
On December, 22-year-old intern Alex Black was killed by a lion, and now we are learning how it all unfolded.
This comes after we got our hands on the medical examiner's investigation report, but an attorney for the Conservator Center says that is not the entire story.
We have team coverage on this right now. WFMY News 2's Maddie Gardner is taking a closer look at the timeline, but first, WFMY News 2's Erica Stapleton is breaking down the newly released details of the attack.
According to the report, a deputy with the Caswell County Sheriff's Office told the medical examiner that he was advised a play ball was blocking a gate, which caused it to not close properly, and that's when the lion got out. But an attorney for the Conservator Center says that's not the case.
The lion was supposed to be in a lockout section while 22-year-old intern Alex Black was cleaning an enclosure at the Conservator Center. The medical examiner's investigation report says she was with another employee and another intern when the lion got out. That report, based on a statement from a Caswell County Sheriff's deputy, says a ball was blocking the gate, which caused it not to close and lock properly. But an attorney for the Conservator Center says they don't think a ball played a factor at all. We're told it was a 28-inch enrichment ball, similar to the one you see here. The attorney says the ball would have had to have been directly underneath the gate for it not to close, and that is, quote, neither accurate nor plausible. I know that leads to more questions, but what the attorney says they know, based on their own evidence, is that in order for the lion to get out of the enclosure, the gate was not properly closed and locked. Since the incident, the center has reviewed their policies and retrained staff and found out that the policies they have in place, when followed, are sufficient to keep the center's visitors, staff, and animals safe.
The Conservator Center attorney says this report does not give a conclusion as to what happened. It just details statements made to the medical examiner after the death occurred. We did reach out to the medical examiner to talk to him about how he uses statements, but we have not gotten an answer back yet. But that is not the only part of the report that is raising concern. Maddie Gardner has more on what happened after the lion got out.
That same report by the medical examiner gives us insight into what happened to Alex Black, but we want to reiterate this is based on statements made to the medical examiner. It is not an autopsy. The report also does not give an exact timeline, and some details are hard to hear. This report by a state medical examiner says Alex Black's cause of death was animal mauling. The initial assessment by the examiner details multiple cuts on Black's body and a significant blood loss. It lists a number of traumatic injuries, including a lacerated jugular vein and a fractured spinal cord. The investigation says another employee who was also cleaning the enclosure tried to separate Black and the lion and close the gate to the lockout section, but the lion bit Black's ankle and pulled her into the enclosure. In the report, a lieutenant with the Caswell County Sheriff's Department says the lion dragged her around the enclosure for an extended amount of time. The Conservator Center's attorney exclusively told WFMY News 2 evidence indicates that Black was killed almost instantly by the lion. He goes on to say the idea of Black being alive for a considerable period of time in the enclosure with the lion is simply false. He called the actions by first responders a recovery, not a rescue. The fire department tried to separate the lion and Black's body using water hoses, but they were unsuccessful. An employee at the center tried to tranquilize the lion, but failed. Ultimately, deputies shot the lion 8 times, killing him. Again, this is not an autopsy, but a collection of statements. We reached out to the medical examiner's office about how those statements are used in the report, but we haven't heard back. We also reached out to the Caswell County Sheriff's Office. They told us they have no control over what goes in the medical examiner's report.
The Conservator Center's attorney told us Black's family wants to work with them to ensure her legacy in the zoological world, which she loved. Black's family held a celebration of life for her on January 6th in her home state of Indiana.